What's going on, Seawolves? You're watching USG Hot Takes. I'm your host, AT Bianco, and today we're joined by Shaheer Khan, the president of USG. Thanks for coming on, my man. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing great. Doing well.
So, to start, how are you with hot foods?
How am I with hot foods? Well, I come from a South Asian background.
Okay.
So I think I'm representing my family today. So if I don't do well, I don't know if I can go back home for the weekend.
Oh,
I gotta do well.
all right. So you gotta rep the fam.
Oh yeah, 100%.
All right.
100%.
Shout out to the Khan family if you're watching.
This is for you, Mom.
All right. So we're gonna get right into it. First sauce is the Hot One sauce, and I would like to introduce the first time this has happened on this show. Shaheer sauced my wings.
Oh yeah.
And I sauced his wings. So it's going to be an interesting episode to say the least. So we're going to start out and tell us about your background and how important family is to you.
So I come from a very diverse, multi-ethnic background. My mom's from Nepal, my father's from Pakistan, and it's a weird dynamic because when you look at South Asia, there's a lot of contention within that region, between, the Hindus and the Muslims, India, Pakistan. And me being able to live in my house, I see how people can at times put their differences aside and peacefully coexist. And I think that's kind of shaped my worldview.
In terms of coming from a couple different backgrounds, there's a couple different religions that you practice.
Oh yeah.
What are those?
Yeah, so from my father's side, Islam, and from my mother's side, Hinduism. And I predominantly follow the practices of Islam. But growing up, the first 5 years, I was very close on my mother's side of the family. So growing up with the culture and the language and the food, and I don't think there's a superiority in the sense where everything is equal to me, and I appreciate and respect how both sides of my family kind of instilled in me.
In terms of, because those are on two different ends of the spectrum as far as religion goes, what are a couple principles from each that you really instill in yourself and your family life?
Yeah, I think one is respect for humanity. That's probably one of the biggest ones. Before you practice a religion, you should understand to respect all the humans around you first. So I think that's one of the biggest principles, and I think you see that in all religions.
Right.
That innate sense of respecting your fellow human being, regardless of gender, regardless of sexuality, regardless of personal beliefs. You always have to have that sense of respect.
So, have you went back overseas and visited, home country, both your father and your mother's?
Yeah, so my family travels a lot, and I think I've been to Pakistan multiple times. And it's crazy living in America. You have all these resources, you take it for granted sometimes, and then going back to Pakistan, it's like we love up towards the mountains, and it's always snowing there. And general things that we take for granted, like the refrigerator, for example.
Right.
Back at home, electricity sometimes comes, sometimes goes. But one thing we always have is a river, and it's actually melted glacier waters.
Oh, okay.
So we'll put fruits or drinks in a basket and leave it inside the river, and it naturally cools.
That's so cool.
Natural refrigeration. But it's amazing that I go to one side of the world and people are living like that, and then when I come back to America, we have our toasters, microwaves, we got
Right.
the TV, everything is so easy. So you learn to respect, the differences, and you get to kind of conceptualize how the other half, or
And
not
you
even
can
the
get a
other half.
different perspective too as well.
Yeah, and that's very important.
So, you ready for the second sauce?
I think so.
I heard you're excited for this one.
This is the ghost pepper and blueberry.
Yes.
And
yes.
I love sweet foods. Well, a mix of sweet and savory, so this is great.
All right, cheers, my man.
Thank you.
There
my
you go.
friend.
So, what year are you? What's your major? And what's your journey been like at Stony Brook so far?
Before I answer that question, I have to say you're the only person I know that can convince people willingly to present themselves in public being slowly tortured by eating hot foods, at least in this campus, and I think that's hilarious.
I'll take that as a compliment.
I think so.
So thank you.
No
I really
problem.
appreciate that. I really appreciate that.
But yeah, my journey at Stony Brook, it's been a long one. It's been and I think a lot of students you know, have ups and downs, and I think Stony Brook has made me who I am today. In regards to when I first came to Stony Brook, my first leadership experience was being an undergraduate fellow, and that was very important to me because when I came in freshman year of college, first semester, you know, I was going through mental health issues where I had to use resources like cabs and really just be cautious about, you know, making sure I transition well into college. So being able to live that experience, I was glad that the next semester I was able to, or the year after, I was able to be an undergraduate fellow and help students and guide them through the same rough transitions that I probably went through.
And I'd like to speak on that further a little bit too, because I think it relates to a lot of students here at Stony Brook, and it hits home with a lot of people. It's not talked about as much as it should, but in terms of mental health, you know, there are resources to help students on campus. And me personally, you know, first coming to Stony Brook as a transfer, I had my rough time, and you know, it's a struggle here, but definitely seek out those resources, and 100%. Always keep in mind that like you're not alone in how you feel, because it's a struggle in college just in general.
Yeah, no doubt.
So in terms of what year are you and what's your major, how does that kind of apply to what you want to get into?
Sounds good. So yeah, I'm a senior at Stony Brook University. I'm a political science major with a minor in international studies and South Asian studies.
Okay, cool.
And I aspire to be, you know, one day hopefully an ambassador. I think that'd be crazy. But I would love to be able to use my experience and I guess my cultural diversity and be able to make that link in other countries. And I think the biggest thing that I appreciate the most is making the new interactions and new connections every day. And it would be a blessing for me if I can make my career focused on that as well. Yeah.
In terms of your purpose,
yeah,
and why you want to chase that career,
yeah,
what keeps you going? Like, what keeps you motivated to always have that in mind?
I think so. I came to Stony Brook as a biomedical engineering major. Okay. And my first experience really traveling to a different country and interacting with a person that I've never known or can't even speak the language with was when I went to the Dominican Republic. This was the summer of my freshman year, and I went to a city called Jarabacoa, and we were working in clinics all throughout the city, and a lot of people who don't have the same resources as us, the less fortunate. And we were able to pop up clinics. We had pharmacies, we had diagnosis centers where doctors from the country itself would come and remedy some of the illnesses that were there. And more than the medicine, I think what interested me was how I was talking to new people every day, understanding the lack of resources that some may have, the cultural reasons, the political reasons, and that's when I realized, maybe not the medicine, but more so building on the interpersonal relations that I can in different countries. That's what I want to aim at.
And also the cultural barriers, bridging that gap.
100%. I love to see the smiles when asked like, where are you from? And I'd be like, soy de Pakistan. I'm from Pakistan.
Right.
My mom's from Nepal, and they'd be like, whoa, like that's on the other side of the world. Why Dominican Republic?
Yeah.
And I think it's great to bridge those gaps where people are more understanding and aware that there are people in the other side of the world that I can interact with. I think that's beautiful.
And I think you get a lot of exposure to diversity itself here at Stony Brook.
100%.
And that kind of carries into our next question here. So are you ready for the third sauce?
What is this? Pain is good?
Pain is good.
Pain is great.
All right, let's get it. Woof. Why did you want to run for president of USG? And what's been the number one priority for student government this year that's been different from prior years?
I feel like I have sauce on my face.
A little chin sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. It's crazy. I have a beard, so I get
Saving
crumbs
snacks for later.
Snacks for later. That's exactly what I say. But yeah, so why did I run for USG president? I think I started off as a senator last year for the College of Arts and Sciences. And I think last year was very unique. for USG because I was able to see how there was a general shift of mindset that the way things are isn't necessarily the best. Where, an organization that's been running for 10 years over time needs to transition and catch up with how things are run right now. Whether it be with legal documents in regards to like Stony Brook's code, like Stony Brook's procedure manual, or even looking at New York State law, we have to make sure that we're compliant. Because I don't think a lot of people know this, but USG functions as a governing organization, but we're also a separate nonprofit. So it's almost like we want to represent the students and make sure that their voice is heard, and we bring them into all the decision-making processes that we have. But also, we want to make sure that the students are receiving the best type of service because they pay student activities fee. So we want to make sure that they get the most bang for their buck. So me coming in as a president, I wanted to make sure that we bridge that divide between those two topics and kind of make students realize that, listen, we're here for you. We want you to vote. We want you to be within the decision-making process. But we also want to increase the number of services that we're providing. So this year, we increased the number of off-campus trips that we've had. We did, I think Spooky Brook was like 2-3 times bigger than it was last year. I think people were really happy with the results of Wolfie Land. And I'm excited to see what more we have to offer to the student body in the upcoming months.
So in terms of stuff that USG is currently working on now, is there anything that you want to say to the student body in terms of things that you're working on that maybe they don't understand fully?
So I think the biggest thing we're working on right now is the constitutional referendum, and this week we're actually in the voting phase of it. So we have it on the ballot, and students can go on Solar and vote either yes or no for the constitutional referendum. And I think this year, more than any other years in USG, we've tried to increase the transparency that we have. I think USG last year and the past couple of years have been afraid of news media outlets like the Statesman and SB Media. I don't think that should be the case. I appreciate that there's a group of students that are reporting on what USG is doing, what the campus in general is doing, and bring that information to the everyday student. That's noble. And I feel like if there is misinformation that's being put out, I think partially it's because maybe USG is not properly articulating the message. So instead of being defensive or being on the offensive, I think we should be more collaborative. And that's something that I feel like has been done well this year, and I hope to continue that trajectory over the next couple of years. I heard this is the worst.
Yes, this is the worst.
Yeah. Now you sauced this for me, right?
The bomb. Yeah, I think you sauced more.
Yeah, so I think we have to take the part that has the most sauce.
Oh, I think you're a little bit of a pain. Yeah. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
All right.
You've been working with me for a while, so you know how it is.
All right. Cheers, my man.
Cheers. Okay.
Wow. You're brave.
I like hot foods. What can I say?
Ooh. Got a little drippage right there.
By the way, I'm gonna finish all these wings, like post interview, because I don't want to, have food in my mouth while I'm talking.
Ooh, this
one's going down.
Yeah. So, I heard you're into Bollywood films.
Right over here. I love Bollywood.
All right.
Big time.
Hopefully we get the camera to capture that one. So what's that Bollywood film?
So this movie is called Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. It's a movie that came out in 1998, so when I was born.
Okay.
And it's a Shah Rukh Khan movie.
It's a what movie? Sorry.
A Shah Rukh Khan movie. So he's an actor. I don't know if you've heard about him, but I think a couple years ago he was rated the #1 most paid actor in the world.
Wow.
$600 million net worth. My man has like a 3.2 billion following, people wise. So it's huge. Half the world is into Bollywood. Yeah.
Wow. And you're quite the singer.
I like to sing. I don't sing well. Oh, yo, you see that?
That's a tear. That's a lone tear. That's a lone tear. So, and speaking about the Bollywood films and singing, My tongue is numb.
Yeah.
If you could sing any song from your favorite film, what would it be?
So I'll give a little story behind it before I actually sing it. But because of the household I live in, I learned multiple languages. So I speak English, I speak Urdu, I speak Pashto, I speak Nepali, and I speak Hindi.
It's 6 languages. 6 languages?
Five.
Wow.
And depending where I am, I can manage in Spanish, and I live with Big Mo, right? He's the executive vice president. He's Arab, so I've learned Arab here and there, or Arabic here and there. But yeah, those are the main 5 languages I speak. So there's a song in it was an old Bollywood movie, like 70s, 80s, where a man is coming up to a girl, and he's basically saying he loves her in like 4 or 5 different languages. And I think this is very appropriate. I see myself like that one day, So it goes like, and let me know if you can translate it. I'd like to see it.
All right.
So it goes like, Angrezi mein kehte hai ke I love you. Gujarati ma bole tene prem garun chu. Bengali mein kehte hai ami tamako balobashi aur Punjabi mein kehte hai terito.
Hey, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. So we got a little music there for our viewers.
Is that our first in Hot Takes?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's our
Nice.
first. We just laid a beat just like that. That was not planned.
Nah, and I like that. Like it just naturally happened.
It moves with it, and we completely cannot feel our tongues right now either.
I think that's why I was more comfortable doing it.
Yeah. It just everything just like
It's
goes
I'm
away.
numb
after
right
that.
now.
Yeah, just numb to it all, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for singing that song for us, by the way.
Thank
That
you
was
for
awesome.
thank you for giving me the opportunity. But yeah, so let me tell you the languages that
Yeah.
I was actually speaking in. So first was English, I love you. And then it was Gujarati, which is another regional language. And then Bengali, and after that Punjabi. So it's like a lot of the
Okay.
main languages in the Indian subcontinent.
That's amazing. So, are you ready for the last sauce?
Or you? I feel like you're struggling more than me.
Can I get a drum roll? If you guys could hear that.
This sauce will blow you away. Yo, first of all, the fact that a waiver has to be signed to be on the show is insane.
It actually does need to be signed to be on this
I don't
show.
know if that's public information.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. We have to. It's the smart move, just in case there's any,
100%.
issues with allergies or anything.
Definitely.
But
It's good to be safe always.
it always is good to be safe. So, are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right. Woo.
Cheers.
Cheers, my friend.
Oh, this has a nice flavor to it. It's like sour. That was good.
As former President Stanley would say, that has a delayed reaction.
I think it's the capsaicin.
Must be, right? So,
Yeah. Do you want a Milky Way? I have some saved.
you have Milky Ways?
Yeah, you want one?
Yo, Milky Ways are my favorite candy.
No way.
I didn't even know that. So, in terms of culture,
Yeah.
pop culture, whether it's from your home country, whether your parents bring that home, and what you've grown up with here in America, what are some favorite classics of yours in terms of movies, songs, anything?
So I was born in Kansas, lived there for 5 years, and then moved to New York. But for some reason, like not even being a Long Island native, like I love Billy Joel. Like Billy Joel is somebody I can listen to all the time. Elvis Presley, like he's cool. Back in high school, I remember I used to be in a poets and writers class, and we used to analyze lyrics. And 2 artists that we would really look into heavy was MF Doom and Gangstar. So I have like a natural just liking towards them. So yeah, I think my music choice like really,
So do you listen to a lot of hip hop?
I do listen to hip hop.
Okay.
But this is the thing. Some people are really good with the artist names and the lyrics. I think I'm more of like I can bump to it, I'll enjoy it. My general knowledge on it is pretty bad.
Okay. That's interesting to hear. So if you could say anything to freshman year Shaheer,
Yeah.
as you sit in this chair now as president of USG, what would you say to him?
What would I say? You know what? I never thought about that, but I think just it's like from Finding Nemo. Like just keep swimming, like keep moving forward. Like things get tough, but look at the friends around you. Look at the resources you have. Look to your family, and you'll be all right. Just believe in yourself. But I'd also say don't stress yourself out too much. As a first generation American, there's a lot of pressure to make sure that you do good for yourself and you do good for your family. And I think part of me would just tell freshman Shaheer, like don't put that much pressure on yourself. Like enjoy the moment, and you're capable and you're smart and you're worth it. And I think young Shaheer would really appreciate that. I'd also tell young Shaheer to go to the gym more often, because I let that go. I was big on what is it called? Playing varsity soccer in high school.
Right.
And training cricket with my little brother. Like I was always active, but now once you come to college, you kind of let that go.
Right.
So yeah, those are the two aspects.
So wise words from wise and experienced student here at Stony Brook.
I'm
so
the gray hairs, but
a little bit.
it'll come soon with USG.
It happens. So Shaheer,
Yeah.
thank you for coming on here today.
problem.
I
Thank you
really
for having me.
appreciate you taking on the Hot Wings gauntlet
problem.
like a champ.
Yeah.
So thank you for being
No
here with us
problem.
today
Thank
at
you.
USG Hot Takes. So thank you for watching this episode of USG Hot Takes. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel at SBUSG, our Instagram at Stony Brook USG, and on Facebook at Stony Brook USG as well. So thank you for watching this episode of USG Hot Takes, here with our guest Shaheer Khan, president of USG. Thank you for watching. Woo! My mouth is numb.
Man, that was bad.
You're watching USG Hot Takes, the hottest show on campus.